Ole Miss easily got past the Nevada Wolfpack in today in game 2 of the series, taking it from the Wolfpack. They're going to be all right, everybody. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I am your host, Stephen Willis. This is the most watched Ole Miss podcast out there, and we appreciate you for that. I'm a 10-year veteran member of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss football staff member as well. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now it's the #1 sports podcast network in America. That's because of fans like you taking in content like this, and we cannot be more appreciative of that. On today's show, we are going to overreact to what we just saw in game 2 of the series between the Ole Miss Rebels and the Nevada Wolfpack. We're going to talk about the powder blue uniform controversy that might be developing per a report from On3. We'll talk about some power surge that happened, and we'll talk about how Dom Decker, he is absolutely my favorite Ole Miss baseball player this season. I don't have to watch anything else. He is a true throwback dirtbag in baseball, and we salute him for that. All of this and more on today's Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Remember, we're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube. So a special hello to the insiders and everydayers who make this show what it is, and that is your team every single day. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. We put the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, but putting in the work, well, that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. All right. So let's get a little bit excited because the stuff that caused the end of the season in 2025, it appears that that is not an issue that anybody is going to be dealing with. The fielding looks cleaner. It looks better. And I have confidence of what's going to happen whenever the other team puts the ball in play, if that makes sense, after 2 games. Now, Cade Townsend in this game was really, really good. If you look at his statistics in the game, and I do, Cade Townsend threw, according to this, 54 total pitches in today's game. That's over 4 2/3 innings of work. He gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run for the day. He struck out 8 batters. He threw 54 pitches, and according to this, the live stats on the Ole Miss site, he threw 48 for strikes. That means you're not going to give up free passes. If he threw 6 balls over 54 pitches, you're not giving up many free passes. And Cade Townsend, his stuff is good enough to get people out consistently. And because of that, he just kind of mowed through the Nevada lineup. I know the score was 5-1. It felt much larger than that because of the early power surge with Judd Utemark hitting a home run in the first inning, along with a couple of other batters as well. Dom Decker went 2 for 2, had 2 runs in the game. He is the table setter on the team. He is the small ball player on the team. He is exactly the type of baseball player that analytics robbed us of. 100%. But also, this is the type player that gets people to watch the sport. So what I'm saying is, if you look at a spreadsheet, analytics say that he's not going to win games for you. He's not going to be able to do what's necessary to pull that off. But when you watch the game, you want to watch this player play ball. You look at him, he has dirt all over his uniform. He is doing everything necessary to make you interested in what's going on. And I really kind of like the early part of the roster construction by Mike Bianco. I like the fact that they're essentially dividing the roster in 2 to where you have the small ball players, the table setters that get on base before the power surge gets there. And That is pretty cool. You had a home run today from Tristan Bissetta. You had a home run from Judd Utemark. And I think you had a home run from Trace Sermons. I think that's his name. Redshirt freshman, playing in his first game this season. He hit a bomb, and then I think he had a double as well. I mean, he had a pretty good debut day for him. Going over the stats, you had Hayden Federico at 1 for 4. You had Judd Utemark at 1 for 3 with a home run in the first inning. Will Furnace was 1 for 4. Colin Reuter was 1 for 3 with a walk. Austin Foley drew the collar at 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Dom Decker was 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. Excellent player, just unbelievable. He's the type player that when he's on your team, you root for him. Absolutely amazing. Tristan Bissetta hit a home run today. He was 2 for 4 for the game, 3 RBIs. Brett Mosley did not bat in the game. Sermons was 2 for 4 with a home run and I think a double as well. And Braden Randall was 1 for 3. There was lots of people putting the ball in play and getting hits. When you look at strikeouts, they struck out 8 times. A little bit more velocity today than there was yesterday. Although we did see exactly what the lineup would look like with Mike Bianco being facing a left-handed starting pitcher. So it changed a little bit. Federico moved to the leadoff spot. Dom Decker fell down to number 6, but right after Decker is more home run hitters. Right after Federico, home run hitters. The whole idea is, hey, get on base, and one of these guys are going to get you home. They're trying to put up more crooked numbers, essentially, over the course of the season. That's what it looks like to me. And when you have a pitching staff that you can count on, and so far this year, Nevada has a pretty good hitting team historically. Again, defending Mountain West champions, good ball club. The pitching staff is working pretty good. And we spoke with Chad Smith yesterday, and he said that you can expect a lot of pitchers, that they're not going to overuse them. And I heard something in the broadcast where they were talking about being able to report like a week or two early, and that's helping out pitchers. I could be mistaken on that. But if that happens, that explains the fact that you only saw 4 guys in the first matchup yesterday, only 3 guys today. It was Townsend, Rabe, and Koenig. The majority of it was Townsend and Rabe. They provided 8 innings worth of work. They went pretty deep in the game. Between the 2 of them, they claimed they only threw 23 balls over the course of 100 pitches. I mean, it's like a 75% strike rate for those 2 pitchers. Once you got into the closer, Koenig was 11 strikes on 17 total pitches as well. Again, they're right on the strike zone. And listen, everybody that watches my show knows that I am a Detroit Tigers fan. They know that. One of the things that the Tigers recruit to is called what they call owning the zone. They want pitchers that pitch inside the strike zone, and they want hitters that don't chase. They don't want to make it easy. And this baseball team, through 2 games, they're not throwing balls, they're not walking batters, and they're not chasing as much, at least. Now, we haven't gotten to the point where these SEC pitchers are going to light them up. That's not going to happen. But we are at the point of the season where confidence kind of reigns supreme. So we're going to take comments if there are any comments. I understand that this is a more informal thing, but if you comment, please put where you're commenting from. We want to shout that out as well. We're going to talk about who was the MVP for you. Who is the person that had the biggest impression on you? That is the question that we're going to talk about. Give your answer in the comments if you want to. If not, comment down below in the video when you watch this video on demand. But for me, Dom Decker, absolutely my favorite player on the baseball team so far, and we're 2 games in. I already know he's going to be the guy all season long. So anyway, when we come back, we are going to take comments if they are there. We're going to turn our attention to game 3. and talk about the fact that I believe Thompson from On 3 reported that there's not going to be powder blue uniforms this year. And that makes you kind of feel some kind of a way. So we'll talk about that coming up next. All right, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The Winter Games are officially here, and if you're anything like us, you're locking in for events you only get to see on the biggest stage every 4 years, and that's why following the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes more sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The drama of curling matches that start slow and somehow become unbelievably intense. Speed skating races that get decided by a mere inch or two. Hockey games that feel different right from the opening face-off, and even niche events that become must-watch when you're fully locked into the competition. FanDuel keeps the entire Olympic experience engaging from start to finish. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. No, hiring isn't just about finding somebody willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background that can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs, well, that's the move. Because instead of hoping that the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit certain criteria like skills, certifications, or even location. That's what I like about Indeed. You can get specific and target exactly what you need. It saves time. It saves effort. And with sponsored jobs, your post gets seen by candidates who actually are a fit. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners to this show will get $75 in sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. This is Mazda's moving the game forward for those who show there's more to the score than what's on the screen. Coach Yo has the Lady Rebels set for their biggest week in recent memory, and how they will do will go a long way to determine that if they host in the NCAA tournament. We all want them to host. The pavilion was built for them to host. So this reminds us of exactly what it takes to raise the bar. It's the extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving it that extra fire, that grit, that I never quit. We put that same passion into every single model. Highlights make the reel, and what it took to get there, well, that makes it count. There's more to Mazda because there's more to you. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcaster and give it a 5-star review. It costs absolutely nothing, but it keeps all of this free. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen every day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in America. That's all because of fans like you taking in content like this. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Ole Miss with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more. All for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedonolemisssupercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, we're going to take comments if you have comments. If you don't, I realize that this is a more informal setting. We only have about 7 minutes to talk about, but I think it was Jake Thompson at On 3 said that they don't anticipate a powder blue jersey for baseball this year. They're going to wear the pinstripes tomorrow. And so the powder blues that we have honestly become accustomed to for about a decade may not happen this year while Nike redesigns what is going on. I don't know how I feel about that. I really like the powder uniform. Of course, I like the pins too. And maybe the cream color jersey today was kind of a confession of that. But what about the red? Where'd the red go? I thought the red looked fantastic. But if no powder blue uniform happens and they're wearing the pins on Sunday, it's going to be interesting to see the uniform that they wear in midweek. And the way it works is, just so everybody knows, the pitcher gets to select the uniform. And nobody wants to wear the powder uniform from last year because they think it's heavier or they just don't like wearing it. So it is what it is. We'll see what Ole Miss does as the season moves on. But it's according to Jake Thompson from On3, don't expect a powder blue uniform to come out of the closet for Ole Miss. So that's interesting to me. All right, so let's look at some comments real quick of what's going on, talking about this game. Mary Renaudin from New Orleans with a hottie toddy and says that Cade Townsend got the MVP from them. He was pretty impressive. Seriously. It was like the SEC tournament last year was pretty much a direct reflection of where he could grow, and he grew to that point. So it should be pretty interesting to see exactly how he develops over the course of the season. His fastball was great. He threw strikes. So yeah, it should be pretty good. Mary says, who are you talking to somebody else? So that's pretty good. All right. So we'll see exactly how that rolls. A couple of trolls in the chat. So we'll just ignore the trolls. That's what we do. So this game was pretty big. Ole Miss is in a really good situation moving forward. And if you look at what could happen for Ole Miss with a baseball series coming up down the line, heading into SEC play, there's an opportunity for them to get some momentum. So we'll see exactly how that goes. I think personally that Ole Miss is going to be in really good shape moving forward. I think their fielding looks a lot better. I think their lineup construction, I really like it. And my favorite player on the field through 2 games is Dom Decker. I like dirtbags. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Mary says, we are excited to see pitching this year. And also Decker locking up the infield. Mary's absolutely all over it. I'm pretty excited to see exactly where it could go for Ole Miss baseball. Game 3 is tomorrow. I think his name is Will Libert. The transfer from Missouri is going to take the hill. Ole Miss is going for a sweep, and we'll see exactly how that goes. And I'm pretty excited to see a power lefty after you had the soft tossing lefty. And it's no offense to Hunter Elliott in the beginning, but as a power lefty going in day 3, because we all know how Sundays go for SEC teams. It's one of those things where it'd be really nice to see the ball get turned around as well. So we'll see how that goes, and I am excited for that. The young guys making an impression, a couple of home runs from redshirt freshmen over the course of the 2 games. And Hayden Federico didn't have the hot start, or isn't having the hot start that he had a year ago. That doesn't mean it's not in there. And Tristan Becerra having a big impact early through 2 games. So I want to see it continue. I want to see people continue to table set and then drive in runs. My big concern was whether or not this team would be a 3-factor team. Strikeouts, home runs, walks. Through 2 games, that doesn't appear to be the case. So everybody seems to have a good vibe about what's going on. Really interesting stuff. All right, tune in tomorrow after the game where we talk about Game 3 as Ole Miss goes for a sweep against the Nevada Wolfpack. Should be really cool, really fun, and we will talk about that then. Really exciting stuff for Ole Miss and everybody moving forward. Big win by the Rebels today. We will see you tomorrow. Hotty toddy.